years later, the record still echoes. Not just through arenas, not just through streaming numbers, but through classrooms, barbershops, think pieces, podcasts, and living rooms where culture is debated like politics. Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us was never going to disappear quietly. It was too explosive for that, too sharp, too intentional. It wasn't just a diss record aimed at Drake, it became a cultural lightning rod. And now, long after the beat first rattled speakers, one of the most respected public intellectuals in America is stepping into the conversation and asking a question nobody expected. By the way, welcome to Celebrity Rap Life, where the spotlight never fades, comebacks are built from chaos, and every headline tells a deeper story. Like, subscribe, and stay locked in, because the story is about to unfold. Did Kendrick Lamar go too far? On a February episode of More Stories, author, professor, and cultural critic Eric Dyson didn't hold back. He wasn't dismissing Kendrick. In fact, he started from a place of admiration. He called both Kendrick Lamar and Drake brilliant, ingenious, architects of their own lanes. But admiration quickly turned into critique. Dyson argued that beneath the chant of Not Like Us, beneath the stadium energy and the viral moments, there was something deeper happening, something political, something uncomfortable. According to Dyson, Kendrick's attack on Drake wasn't just lyrical warfare, it was cultural indictment, and at its core, he believes it flirted with something dangerous. To understand why this critique matters, you have to remember what Not Like Us represented. When Kendrick dropped it, it wasn't subtle. It was direct, surgical, and unapologetic. The song positioned Drake as an outsider, not just to West Coast culture, not just to street credibility, but to Black authenticity itself. The hook became a chant, a dividing line, us versus them. Dyson heard something in that chant that unsettled him. Around the 12-minute mark of the podcast, Dyson leaned into the distinction between the two artists. He said most people would easily call Kendrick a genius, the kind of artist critics study and universities dissect. But Drake? He asked whether people give him the same intellectual respect. He described Drake as commercially viable, a monster on the charts, a record-selling phenomenon, but he questioned the public perception of depth. That contrast, Dyson suggested, is where the problem begins. He argued that Drake was being indicted by Kendrick both implicitly and explicitly. Not Like Us, in his words, functions almost like a perfect anthem for the current political climate. And that's where the conversation took a turn few anticipated. Dyson compared the thematic core of the record to the rhetoric of President Donald Trump. The comparison wasn't about music, it wasn't about flow or production, it was about the phrase itself. You are not like us. Dyson pointed out how that sentiment echoes in political language. You are not like us. You are Somalian. You are Ethiopian. You are Eritrean. You are Mexican. You are Haitian. Fill in the blank. The structure is the same. Draw a circle, define the inside, label the outside, exclude. For Dyson, the concern wasn't the beat or the bars, it was the underlying message of separation, us versus them. He said that theme mirrors the framework used to marginalize immigrants and question belonging. In his view, Kendrick's assault on Drake risked crossing from competitive rap into something that resembled cultural gatekeeping. And then he made the accusation that has fueled debate ever since. He said they are trying to de-black Drake. That phrase hit hard, because for years, Drake's racial identity has been part of public conversation. Born in Toronto to a Black father from Memphis and a Jewish Canadian mother, Drake has often navigated multiple identities at once. Too soft for some, too pop for others, too emotional, too commercial, but rarely has the debate centered on whether he qualifies as Black enough. Dyson believes that is exactly what Not Like Us tapped into. He argued that Kendrick was reducing Blackness to Compton, to geography, to a specific cultural experience. In his view, that kind of narrowing erases the broader diaspora. He reminded listeners that many Black Canadians trace their lineage to people who fled American slavery, who escaped what he called the iron tyranny of enslavement. Blackness, he suggested, is not confined to one city, one coast, or one narrative. And then he went deeper into Drake's lineage. His daddy is Black, Dyson said. He spent summers in Memphis. The Memphis horns shaped his early sound. His uncle is Larry Graham of Sly and the Family Stone. What Black card does he have to show? That question wasn't rhetorical. It was pointed. Dyson wasn't defending Drake's rap skills. He wasn't ranking albums. He was defending lineage, heritage, cultural inheritance. He was pushing back against the idea that authenticity can be measured by zip code or accent. But here's what makes this conversation explosive. Kendrick Lamar has built his career on interrogating identity, from Good Kid, Mad City, to Pimp a Butterfly, to Damn and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. He has wrestled with what it means to be Black in America. He has explored survivor's guilt, systemic racism, generational trauma, and internal conflict. When he stepped onto the Super Bowl LIXI stage as headliner, it wasn't just a performance, it was a statement about hip-hop's place in American culture. Dyson attended that Super Bowl. He watched the spectacle unfold, and even there, amid the lights and choreography, he said he couldn't shake the thematic parallel. He didn't see much difference between the song's central chant and the broader political climate of division. That critique forces a larger question. Can a diss record carry ideological consequences? Hip-hop has always thrived on competition. Battle rap is foundational. From the Bronx parks to mainstream stages, artists have sharpened their pens by attacking rivals. Nobody accused Nas of erasing Jay-Z during Ether. Nobody claimed 50 Cent was questioning Ja Rule's racial authenticity. But Drake and Kendrick's battle felt different. It wasn't just about who rapped better. It touched culture, masculinity, artistry, and now, according to Dyson, racial belonging. Supporters of Kendrick would argue that Not Like Us was contextual, that it wasn't about Drake's race, but about perceived exploitation. They would say Kendrick was challenging cultural appropriation, that Drake borrows accents, flows, and aesthetics from different Black communities worldwide without fully committing to any one struggle. From Caribbean patois to UK grime influences, Drake's versatility has often been celebrated and criticized in equal measure. But Dyson's counterpoint is sharp. If you question someone's authenticity loudly enough, especially in a culture that already polices identity, you risk reinforcing the same exclusionary logic used by systems of oppression. That is the tightrope. Two brilliant artists, two massive platforms, one record that shifted the temperature of hip-hop, and now an intellectual heavyweight reframing the narrative. It's important to note that Dyson never dismissed Kendrick's artistry. He called him ingenious, brilliant, a generational talent. But brilliance does not exempt someone from critique. In fact, he implied the opposite. The more influential the artist, the more responsibility their message carries. Meanwhile, Drake remains one of the most commercially dominant figures in music. 5 Grammy Awards, record-breaking streaming numbers, a catalog that stretches from introspective R&B confessions to club anthems. His early work was steeped in Memphis influence, a connection to his father's roots. Over time, he expanded globally, incorporating sounds from London, Jamaica, and beyond. That global fluidity is either proof of versatility or evidence of cultural tourism, depending on who you ask. Dyson's argument doesn't end the debate, it intensifies it, because now the Kendrick versus Drake battle is no longer just about bars, it's about borders, cultural borders. Who gets to define Blackness, who gets to draw the circle, and who stands outside it? And the timing adds another layer. The political climate remains deeply polarized. Immigration debates dominate headlines. National identity is constantly contested. In that environment, a chant like "Not Like Us" lands differently. It reverberates beyond the club. Still, there's another side. Some argue that hip-hop has always contained internal critique, that questioning authenticity is part of its DNA, that Kendrick wasn't attacking Drake's race, but his positioning within a specific cultural lineage, that West Coast rap carries its own codes, and Kendrick was defending them. From that angle, the record becomes less about exclusion and more about preservation. But preservation can sound like exclusion when amplified to stadium level. 2 years later, the dust hasn't settled. If anything, it has thickened. Kendrick continues to be studied as a Pulitzer Prize-winning lyricist. Drake continues to dominate charts and evolve sonically. Both remain cultural titans. Yet Dyson's comments have injected a new dimension into their rivalry. The debate now stretches beyond fandom. It sits at the intersection of art and identity, competition and community, pride and politics. Was Kendrick simply doing what battle rappers have always done, pushing buttons and exposing pressure points? Or did Not Like Us unintentionally echo a broader rhetoric of separation? Dyson's critique doesn't demand cancellation. It demands reflection. And maybe that's the most powerful outcome, a diss track that forces scholars and fans alike to interrogate the meaning of belonging, a rivalry that becomes a case study in how art interacts with ideology. 2 years later, the beat still knocks, the chant still rings, but beneath it, a more complicated conversation hums. Who decides who is like us and who is not? Welcome to The Culture. Hit subscribe, stay curious, and never stop listening.